I forgot. A week ago, today I found out my wife of 20 plus years had an affair with a man she got reacquainted with at her high school reunion. They snuck off and met twice. It is destroying me to know this, but I am hopeful we can work through it. I have said I would be willing to stay, but that she had to break off all contact with the guy. She did, by phone, while I was there. I even spoke to the guy and warned him that his interference would destroy our marriage. He claims he will honor our request. Here's my concern. Her main form of communication with him was through Facebook chat function. I can't see when she's chatting with him at work or know if he's contacting her at all. How can I trust that if things between us get sticky that she won't just fall back to him? Also, I can't stop the parade of images of the two of them getting physical. I don't know for sure what they did other than that I asked if they used protection. The tormented part of me wants to know what they did, but I can't see anything productive coming out of it. How do I make these thoughts go away? Help, please. I am truly struggling with this. We are in counseling. We have been for 2 months. I actually didn't think it was going to work as we couldn't seem to get anywhere. But now that the information about the affair has come to light, there seems to be some forward momentum. I am more hopeful than I have been. It is good to know that the images will go away. It is just so freaking painful. I will look into a keylogger for the home PC, but she does most of her chatting on her work computer, so that makes it harder. I know I am going to have to learn to trust her, but I don't see that happening for a while. I have not told the other person's spouse, but I did tell him that if he attempts any contact with my wife again, my first phone call will be to his spouse. I agree that she deserves to know, but I just can't bring myself to inflict this pain on her and her family. I guess we'll see as time passes. I think we are going to be able to work through this. Although we still have issues that led to her cheating. Because this is all still so new, I am having storms of emotion that just overwhelm me. Friday, I spent most of the day enraged and just didn't know how to function. This weekend we went away to celebrate our wedding anniversary. We talked almost non-stop and actually made a lot of progress. I have a better understanding of where she was and what she did and why she did it. That doesn't make it any better, but at least I have information I can make sense of and feel slightly better. One of my greatest fears was that she was intending to leave once she worked up the nerve, and that my finding out scared her into staying. I no longer fear that. Anyway, my next hurdle will be in telling the other man's wife. I appreciate all the urging in that direction and will try to do that ASAP. I have to admit that I am worried about the effect. From what I've been told, he may just tell his wife to screw off and then pursue my wife again. Since there's no longer a threat of discovery. Like I said, it's a hurdle and one that I will cross. After the discovery, I demanded that she break off all contact. At that point, it was no longer a PA but only an emotional affair. We had been in counseling for over 2 months and had not been getting anywhere. She was disconnected, emotionally checked out, and just not available. We called the OM together and she told him that I had found out and that it had to be over. I spoke with him as well and asked him to stay away as we try to fix this. Since then, she has been very open and affectionate. Our physical relationship has been better than it ever was, and we are talking, texting constantly all day. We have had numerous conversations about the affair. I haven't done the 180 that people talk about, mostly because she has been trying very hard to be there. However, I have been unyielding in how quickly the divorce would occur if she resumed communication of any kind. In one of our talks, she was stunned to learn that I had already scouted apartments, checked our finances, and gotten a referral for a good attorney. She was more surprised to learn that I had forwarded copies of all the emails they sent one another to my own personal account. We are connecting better than we have for many years, and I truly want to believe that we have turned a corner. But when I read posts that say the WS will resume contact with the OM within 12 to 18 months of the affair, I get worried that I am being naive. What is this script that was referred to, and how can I be sure that what I'm experiencing is genuine and not me being taken for a ride? I do feel the emotional connection is genuine, and I do think we have turned a corner, but I will be vigilant and wary and not completely trust again. We have a few challenges coming up with business trips and whatnot, but we will get through them as best we can. It's a little over 2 weeks since D-Day and mostly things have been going well. I truly believe that finding out about my wife's affair may have saved us. However, I am having a hard time because I am going out of town for 2 days on a field trip with my son, and I can't shake the thought that either he will try to make contact again or that she will because I'm not here. We have had a stressful few weeks, and I know that he was her go-to for venting and emotional outlet. On top of that, I know that her preferred method of contacting him was through Facebook chat, which I can't see and don't have any way to trace. She has assured me that she is not going to contact him ever again, and he has also said that, but I can't get the thought out of my head. Any sage words, folks, or is this just one of those leap of faith kind of things? She did me no favors, believe me. What I mean by it saving us is that we have been in MC for over 2 months, and we were getting absolutely nowhere. She was completely closed off, and even though we loved each other, we could not connect. Finding out about the affair broke down those walls. She was closed off because she was feeling guilty and ashamed, and she was still in an IA with the guy. So, there was a third party in our MC, and we would have ended up divorced. Finding out put all the cards on the table and has allowed us to talk through a lot of the problem that led her to his bed and let us find ways to be there for each other. I don't know if this makes any sense or if I'm just being naive, but knowing the truth and getting to the source of all the troubles will allow us to stay together. I am still reeling in incredible hurt, but at least now we can talk about it and work our way through it. She did a good job of keeping in touch with me by phone through text or call. As soon as I got home, she voluntarily gave over her phone for me to check calls, texts, emails, etc. She is trying. It's going to be harder for me next week when she is out of town on business, but she has said she will do anything I ask to make me feel more comfortable. Almost 3 weeks from D-Day and my wife and I seem to be doing very well. We talk constantly, we're covering a lot of ground that should have been gone over years ago, and we are feeling more connected than we have in over a decade. In addition, we have had more bonding in the past 3 weeks than we have in the 8 months. Which leads to my question. Due to what we've been through, I'm having a lot of trust issues. So, all the bonding we are having ... is it about guilt and obligation, or is it about truly wanting to be connected and physically with me? I can tell physically that she is there with me and not going through motions. But I am just worried that once she feels she's done her penance, that we'll be back in the once-a-month rut which led us to the bad place where she strayed. I know a lot of guys would not stick around at all after a pop, but I chose to. The bonding was something that just kind of started happening as we talked and connected. I think the genuine remorse, coupled with the need to make that connection, probably led us to the bedroom more often than not. Someone on another thread referred to something called hysterical bonding, where a couple will experience an increase in their desires as they work through a crisis like this. I don't know if that is what it is, but I'm going to keep working on us. And I am hopeful that as we normalize, this part of our marriage will stay accelerated. Everybody forgives in their own way and in their own time. I still have days where I am sad and angry with her for doing this to our life. But mostly I just remind myself that she is human and she made a mistake. She has said she will continue to work on this to make things better, and we are getting better one day at a time. I don't know that there will ever be a day that I trust her unreservedly again, but I hope to get close to it. Right now, I have doubts about everything, but I do the best I can to be positive and straightforward. Here's the problem. During their EA, she made it clear that the PIA was over, but he was constantly ignoring boundaries to try to get the PA back on track. During that time, he arranged a guy's trip with a 2-day stopover near us. My wife claims they were just going to have lunches and talk, etc. I think he had other plans. But that is neither here nor there. After the NC call was made, we assumed he would be rearranging his travel to get rid of the stopover. Today we found out, because I'm a suspicious sort, that his trip is still on with the stopover. We, wife and I, are both concerned that he is still in the fog and thinking he is going to show up at her office and sweep her off her feet and back into his life and bed. She has assured me that if he attempts any contact, she will let me know immediately and tell him to please go away, since she has admitted that she is having trouble letting go and is still sad about the end of the EA and missing him. I am getting stressed about this. Going out of town for those 2 days isn't an option for me for a few reasons. Some work-related and some just me not willing to live in fear of this clown showing up in our lives. I have considered calling him, but wife wants to wait. He does have some business interest in the area, so it's possible he could have not changed his flights because of that. I have thought about just going to the airport and following him to see what he does. I have a few different scenarios in mind. One where I just sidle up to him at baggage claim and ask him why he's there. I don't have any intentions towards X him in the face, so not concerned about going behind bars. Anyway, have another 10 days to plan. Just need to figure out if I just let the W handle this or if I step in. The thing that sucks is we are doing well on our efforts towards R, and it would be a lot easier if this guy would stop throwing his shadow over our lives. We have discussed a restraining order, but unless he actually does show up, then there's nothing to restrain. Our NC was verbal, not written, so no paper trail to work with the police on. I had not been to this site at the time of my discovery, so I made some early mistakes that I am now stuck with. One such mistake is that I haven't spoken with OM's wife. I promised my wife that I would let him tell her and get into counseling, which he said he would do. Because I am trying to stick to my word, I haven't done anything, and we have no idea if he told her or got into MC. However, I did let him know that if he attempted to contact her again, my first call was to his wife. So, I may be able to let her know within the next week. I know I should tell her, and that I am doing her a disservice by not. Feel free to beat up on me about it. It can't be any worse than what I've done to myself these past few weeks. But I have been all over my wife about her lying, cheating, and dishonesty. Since I gave her my word that I wouldn't, I'd feel like a complete hypocrite if I did. I know that meeting him at the airport would be a huge risk in a lot of ways. I don't honestly know how I'd behave if I saw him. I have managed to work through a lot of my rage, but given the circumstances, I don't know that I wouldn't take a shot, physical punch, not a gun, just for clarification, at him if I were in the same room with him. It sounds like the best course of action is to call him, let him know we know his travel plans, and warn him not to attempt contact. Part of the reason I am struggling with it is her grieving for the loss of the relationship. She doesn't want him back, but she does feel protective of him because she cares about him. The other piece of the puzzle is that she is concerned that if his marriage implodes that he will just pursue her more strongly since he no longer has that secret to protect. I am going to talk with my IC and MC about it and see if I'm being naive and blind and trying to keep my word. I didn't say she can't resist him. I said she is sad about losing the relationship and missing him. I don't think if he shows up, she'll start salivating like a dog and just go with him. She is as worried about this as I am, as she knows what is at stake. If he does show up, I will call his wife, regardless of what my wife says or does. Even if it hurts my I will do it because that is what I said I would do, and she needs to see that I won't back down from any of this. I have a recorder that I could use. It's not VAR, but at slow speed it records for 16 hours. I could drop it in her car before she leaves and just check it at the end of the day. A pain in the back to be sure, but one option. I have considered staking out her place of work just to see if he shows. That way she can handle it. She has said if he turns up, she will ask him to leave immediately and inform me of it as soon as it happens. The year began last year after the two of them reconnected at their high school reunion. I didn't go as it was 2,000 miles away. They continued their electronic courtship for several months, falling in love. They had 2 rendezvous out of state while she was allegedly away on business. In December last year, she ended the PIA because she wanted to work on saving our marriage. She started IC soon after and we started MC a short time after that. However, she never revealed the affair. Our MC was going nowhere because she was still in the I heard all the standard line. Love you but not in love, etc. Just after Mother's Day I discovered the affair by looking on her phone and finding emails. I confronted her the next morning and demanded that we either divorce or she go to NC immediately. I was there during the NC call and I even spoke directly to the OM and explained that if he attempted contact again that I would contact his wife and let her know what was going on. He assured me he would not. While they were still in the EA, he had planned this trip thinking they could hang out. I believe he intended to try to restart the PIA as he is still very much in love with her. We believed when we went to NC that he would change his flights. Found out yesterday that he hasn't, and we are now trying to figure out whether it's for business or if he intends to try to break NC. All is going very well in our efforts towards our other than some residual OM stuff we are dealing with. The transparency and effort have been strong and good. Generally speaking, I feel really strong and feel very good about the changes I am making and how I am doing. So why do I have this feeling of impending doom? The other shoe has dropped. I know almost everything there is to know about the affair. But I feel like there's this weight suspended over me waiting to drop. As I feared, expected, OM contacted my WS while he was in town this week. WS had a convoy with him that basically reiterated NC. Since being told of the conversation, I have been trying to reach OMW. Since he obviously did not make any attempt to be honest with her and has no intention of doing it, I will begin drafting a letter to send registered mail that she will need to sign for. I will also keep calling every few hours to see if anyone ever picks up. The only message I considered leaving was that I have an urgent personal matter I need to discuss with her. OM is in town currently. He hit town last night and had dinner with an old friend of wife's. They all went to high school together and reconnected at the reunion. I suspect there was a phishing attempt there, in that he knows how close the two women are and figured that if he invited the friend would invite my wife. If she was willing to go underground, she could have accepted, said she was having dinner with the friend and seen OM. Then he called her this morning at her office on her work line. Another sign that he was both fishing and trying to get her to go underground, as he would assume that I'd be checking her cell and that I wouldn't be able to track calls on the work line. With me present, my wife back in May had the NC call where she spelled it out in no uncertain terms. I then got on the phone with OM and also spelled out that he was to have no further contact. So yes, he is something of a D-bag. It was typical phishing script. I was just calling to see how you were doing. My anger towards my WS comes from the fact that rather than shut him down immediately, she allowed him to engage her in conversation. They talked for several minutes, during which time she reinforced that she is very happy with her decision. That we are doing very well on the way to R. And the best thing he could do is get gone. His final comment was that he wouldn't try to contact again. I'll believe it when I see it, personally. I'm sure he'll be on another fishing trip within a few months. We both think this guy is completely checked out on his marriage. No fog left, no nothing. Just doesn't want to be there. And he's using me as his hatchet man, which really hacks me off. I'm very frustrated that I can't get a hold of her, as I just want to get this done. I don't like the idea of being the weapon used to destroy someone's marriage. So far, my wife has done pretty well, although I think she failed a little in having the conversation. But it's a good step and one that I think brings us even closer to our update. Got a call during lunch. OMW didn't even allow me to talk. Simply said, I know why you're calling. Please don't say anything more and please don't call me again. I am handling it. So, I guess that's that. No further calls today, and his plane took off half an hour ago for the next leg of his trip, so now he is gone. Hopefully now we can really start to work on putting it behind us. Best thing that came of it is the call to the wife yesterday actually made her angry. She got
ngày đôi ta biệt ly, giọt buồn chia đôi đường đi. Lệ em tuôn ướt mi, mưa giăng lối anh về. Trái đất như ngừng quay, sao mưa vẫn rơi vô tình. Mình cô đơn đành thôi quay bước, từng cầu mong em được vui. Ở nơi phương trời xa, có bao giờ em nhớ anh đang mong chờ, vẫn mong em về đây chung với anh đêm này. Tình yêu kia mãi mãi theo suốt cuộc đời. Trên con đường xưa trong lần cuối, nụ cười không nói cho lòng vẫn vương. Rơi vòng tay cuối thơm mùi tóc em như hôm nào trong cơn mê còn nhắc ngay. Ngày mai thôi đôi ta lìa xa em còn nhớ. Thật lòng anh muốn ta nhìn thấy nhau. Chớ quên màu câu yêu thương em với anh hôm nào. Đành nhìn em lòng anh đau nhói. Ngày đôi ta biệt ly, giọt buồn chia đôi đường đi. Lệ em không ướt mi, mưa giăng lối anh về. Trái đất như ngừng quay, sao mưa vẫn rơi vô tình. Mình cô đơn đành thôi quay bước, từng cầu mong em được vui. Ở nơi phương trời xa, có bao giờ em nhớ anh đang mong chờ, vẫn mong em về đây chung với anh đêm này. Tình yêu kia mãi mãi theo suốt cuộc đời.
Got angrier and angrier with him as the day went on as she realized that his ignoring her request showed how selfish he was and how he was only interested in pursuing his vision of her instead of who she really is. Hoping this will make it a lot easier for her to put him out of her mind once and for all. She's seeing that he's selfish and obsessive and still living in a serious fog if he thinks that coming out here was going to win her back. Yes, I think we can really start moving forward now. She is almost completely out of the fog and is coming back to me. I am more hopeful than I have been. I think she thought he was honorable and decent, which his actions certainly argue against. But in the fog, I'm sure he was her knight in shining armor. I am happy she is seeing him for the controlling, obsessive, selfish jerk that he is. He knew that it could potentially affect her marriage for him to show up, and yet he did. That shows that he doesn't care about my marriage or his own. I'm still down for my trigger this morning but trying hard to shake it off. Think I may need to go for a run or work the heavy bag to channel out some of the anger. Since the interaction with OMW was not exactly satisfactory, I called OM this morning and let him know that I was aware of his recent phone call and told him in no uncertain terms that he needs to stay out of our lives for good. There will be no repeats of this. He claimed he was just checking in because of a recent death in our family and wanted to make sure all of us were okay. I don't buy it, but I was very clear and my wife was clear that he is to stop. He said he has deleted all of her contact info. She has blocked him on Facebook and cut off any and all channels that he used to communicate through. With any luck, now we can put this behind us. It felt good to just sit down and tell him flat out what I thought. It's a relief to be that straightforward and not hold back. I did it without anger, without threats, but with no single shred of doubt that it will not be tolerated. I know you all will think I'm being too wimpy, but I urge the OM to figure out his own life and marriage, to find his own happiness and leave us to find ours. Well, like I said, I didn't get angry, never raised my voice, never called him names, although I did imply strongly how cowardly I think he is and dealt with him firmly but not threateningly. I let him know I was angry, but I gave him nothing with which to say I was harassing him. I guess where I feel wimpy is that while I am telling him he has no place in our life together, I am also advising him to figure out his own stuff, to try to either fix his marriage or to get out if it's just not workable. I don't know why I feel any sort of compassion for this guy, but I do. Half a year later, my wife and I have been through an extremely difficult year. We were having problems. I discovered a PA. We reconnected and things were getting better. Then she started to push me away again and things have gotten distant. We are an MC and we both are an IC. Sunday night W informed me that she had an epiphany at her latest IC session, which was that she wasn't in love with me anymore. Said she loves me but not the way I want her to. Gives me a line about how she wishes there were different words for love so she could be more specific. She is now out of town for the rest of the week and we are going to discuss options when she gets back. Options are stay together and try to rekindle the passion, trial separation, or divorce. My question is there any real good reason to do a trial separation? Is it just prolonging the inevitable? The affair is over. That much we agree on. She has allowed transparency and I am remaining vigilant. Nothing has gone underground. She
xứng đáng với những nụ cười mà bấy lâu nay em không được những điều ấy. Dù có thế nào anh vẫn chờ, cuộc tình ấy em cố gắng nhiều rồi, mệt mỏi phải không, phải anh đây tựa vào đi.
May have been able to hide things when I was unaware and unsuspicious. But that ship has sailed. I see credit card, bank statements, phone bills and chat accounts. I have access to information that would make it pretty damn hard to sneak something in. For that matter, I was the one who suggested trial separation as a third option. I just don't want to go down that road if it is a huge waste of time. If we can agree to commit to working towards reconciliation, then I am willing to let her go. If not, if this is just a stall maneuver while she figures out what next horrible thing she's going to spring on me, I say split stuff up and let's get moving. I am working to remain hopeful. I have amended a lot of my nice guy ways and am doing my best to man up in our relationship. In our discussions on this, I have been taking the lead and setting the tone of I want us to succeed, not boo-hoo, please don't leave me. I told her flat out that I am committed to making this work, but if she feels it's unsalvageable, then by all means pack up and go. This damn roller coaster just doesn't stop. Then 3 weeks ago she hit me with I have no passion for you. Love you but don't feel fulfilled in the marriage. We decided to try to work on reconnecting and try to make it through the summer. This morning I asked her about her being down and she said she is having a hard time detaching from the outcome. In the course of the convo, she said she is not sure she can ever rekindle her feelings because she is not attracted to the core me. So, I asked ... is there any point to continuing this? Or is this just her passive, aggressively trying to push me to be the bad guy and file for divorce? I am seriously frustrated and confused by it all. Weeks later, after over a year of struggle and just when I thought we may have been turning a corner, my marriage is over. Talked to W last night, laid out some of my thoughts on where she is in our counseling and told her I was fed up with her fence sitting. Asked her to give me anything, any reason to stay in the marriage, and she said she had nothing to give. So, I asked her to leave. Offered a 6-month separation, but she said she doesn't feel like it will do any good, so we are going to a divorce mediator. I am not sure how I feel. Think it's still numbness right now, but I guess I'm also relieved that the other shoe has finally dropped. Story 2. I really need some advice. I am 40 and the girl I have been dating is 41. We have been dating a year and I have recently become concerned about the long-term viability of our relationship. I have actually known this girl for around 10 years. We had dated many years ago, but after I found out about some of her behavior with some guys who played on our ball team, I distanced myself from her, although still remained in contact. I ended up moving away and she ended up getting married. Her marriage was not good and I was aware of that. Her husband was an alcoholic and was abusive. She admits it was a train wreck of a marriage. She ended up separating from her husband and she and I eventually ended up dating again. As I moved back to where she was living, I found out while we first started dating that she was cheating on her husband almost from the beginning. She was seeing an ex-boyfriend whom she describes as her first love during her lunch hours. They would go for walks and kiss. She says that is all that happened, but it was going on for a while during the first year of her marriage. Then she met another guy who works in her building. They would go for coffee. Chẳng còn yêu nhau quá nhiều, bởi vì nhau ước mơ lại vội xa phía bất anh ký ức chưa ngờ nhưng đành phải ra essentially flirt and talk about bonding during their coffee breaks. She eventually accepted this guy's advances and had him over to her place while her husband was out of town and her 9-year-old son was upstairs sleeping. They had slept together in the basement of her house. This troubled me as well. She was honest about this, which I guess was a good thing. I told her that I felt it was very selfish behavior and did not take into consideration the well-being of her son. Anyway, she had originally told me she had no feeling for this guy, but I could tell she was lying. I pushed her on this and she said she wanted more with him and would have left her husband if he also wanted more, but she knew he only wanted bonding. So, in order to protect herself, she only slept with him once and told me it was no big deal. My concern came about after we were dating for almost 10 months. I discovered that she had this guy on her cell phone and that she was still texting him. I also found out that she would send him naked pictures of herself. These were pics she had also sent me. I thought it was something special between us. She also still went for coffee with this guy and all he wanted to talk about were her boobs and how he wanted to sleep with her again. Well, I broke up with her over this. She begged me for forgiveness and another chance, and because I have strong feelings for her, I gave her that chance. I asked her never to see this guy again, to go to counseling, and to stop getting in contact with her ex-boyfriends, and she has done all this. Still, I am just not so sure I can ever get over this infidelity. To complicate matters further, I have discovered that she has a dark past in her childhood. She has slept with over 30 men in her life and has always been involved with men who were bad for her. She gravitates to men who treat her bad. She says she has no secrets from me anymore and that I am the man she has always dreamed of being with. I know this situation is a mess and I am fighting an uphill battle. Am I crazy for sticking with it? When I say I have strong feelings for her, I guess I really mean I love her. She does have many wonderful qualities. She started to have these repressed memories of an incestuous relationship with her brother while all this texting was going, and she claims it has changed her, changed how she thinks about life and relationships. She says she now understands why she always needed male attention and can now stop herself from going down this destructive path. I desperately want to believe her. My head says run away fast while my heart says give her a shot. Is the knowledge of the abuse enough to change her? She has never been in a loving relationship, but she has never been in a relationship with someone who loves her like I do. She is begging me to give her a chance at love and happiness. Can love and being loved not to change a person? She married the wrong guy whom she never loved. It was never a happy relationship. Could it be we have found each other? We are deeply in love and we can build something together. Yes, those of you who have said I doubt she can change are right. A part of me, my logical brain, says I am stupid and naive and I should run away. My heart tells me to stay and give her a chance. I know if I was to walk away, I could never just be friends with her. That would just be too hard. I was in love with her 10 years ago when I first met her and prior to learning about her past. Sometimes love will make you do strange things and see the world through rose-colored glasses. Comments: if 30-plus guys couldn't love her into changing, isn't it a little presumptuous to imagine that you will? If you did have that magic ability, why is she sending some other guy pictures? Faith.
lucky. Feel so lucky, feel so lucky. Feel so lucky. Feel so lucky, feel so lucky. Feel so lucky, feel so
Faithfulness, or in her case, lack of faithfulness, is a statement about who she is. The fact that she places the blame on each and every one of her wide assortments of previous partners is proof that she doesn't feel any obligation to herself or her partner to be faithful. This woman is still married, dating you, and sending naked photos to at least one other guy. I don't cheat, not because my wife is so wonderful or gives me abundant love, but because honesty is a value which is important to me. If you want a faithful woman, you need to find one who has lived her life demonstrating her commitment to that value. OP responds, I guess I want to believe that she can change so badly. I can't see the forest through the trees, and I'm pretty sure I was in love with her 10 years ago when I first met her and prior to learning about her past. Sometimes love will make you do strange things and see the world through rose-colored glasses. She is very attractive, but I have dated attractive women before that I wasn't in love with. I realize you think it is all about bonding, but I will honestly tell you, that is not the case. There is a connection for me that goes far beyond the physical. Yes, I know all my friends say leave, as does everyone on this board, but yet I struggle. My head says go, but my heart says stay. I feel like if I do stay, I am betting everything on the roll of the dice. But on the other hand, I want so desperately to believe her. My comment. I wanted to include that short story too is because some nice guys fall as the backup plan for these friends 10 years later. If they liked you, they would have dated you a long time ago. You agree? Comment down below, sub and bell, and let's see what the next story